And that is why you see there is a lot of similarities between its founding and then the membership, the founding membership. You have said, I think it was Chris who said that this is a wave. We ask ourselves, why must political organizations only spread to the north and other parts of the countries? We have seen the formation of the UPC. We have seen the formation of other independent political formation like the DP. There wasn't anything like spreading to the rest of the country. Why is there a similarity again in the way the NRM spread to the rest of the country and the way the PLU is spreading to the rest of the country? Those are questions that we must be discussing. Why the similarities? And if you look at the leadership of the small organizations that came together, according to Chris, to form the PLU, look at their leadership again, and you will see some historical similarity between these small organizations and the present NRM that I think to me has failed to mutate into a genuinely national movement. Now, Joseph, just a comment before I end my submission. When we talk about poaching, Mapenduzi was trying to also, I also want to agree with you that, this could not be poaching, because if we take the analogy of wild animals in the park, for an animal to be poached, it suggests there's an authority that does not allow it to happen. So in this case here, if you look at the real animals in our protected areas, the game parks and the game reserves, we have UWA. UWA exists, and it exercises its constitutional mandate to prevent the animals from being taken away illegally, from being killed or captured from the game reserves. But in the case of these MPs, do you see them coming from organizations that are strong and are able to stop their membership from leaving? They don't. So I think PLU is just taking them, PLU is just taking them freely, because most of these people that you have counted, enumerated, don't belong to any strong organization that would prevent their membership from being leaving the organization. But also, you ask yourself, is there interest that these animals could have to surrender themselves to the poachers? Yes, there is. Look at the MPs again who may be trying to associate with the PLU. Either they are young entrants who are looking for the energy, the ability to be able to fit into the highly commercialized politics of Uganda. Look at the countries who are coming from West Nile. You have seen those guys in PLUs in West Nile, PLU in Uganda, those of Chris there. They are young entrants who want to join mainstream national politics, but they lack the means, and they see in the PLU the hope, because I think PLU, as you can see, have access to resources. Okay. But also, if you have older MPs, who are trying to join there, again, look at their constituency where they are coming from. There are MPs whose seats are not safe, and therefore they need to throw another line for survival. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And of course, Venturino Toh there is an eloquent civil society advocate. And I'm very sure that Honorable Martin Mapenduzi, you've actually captured some of the issues that he has raised. Kindly combine that with what Kisinga also asked earlier on. And also, as we had the spokesperson PLU Acholi sub-region earlier on speak, he actually talked about 100 years ahead, and we wondered whether PLU and NRM are trying to ring-fence the governance of this country within themselves. Honorable Martin Mapenduzi, a lot of people would want to speak, but let me give you a chance to first handle the questions that have been raised.
Thank you very much. Again, I was struggling to pick the questions of my brother. The network is disappointing me again. Let me start with the first question that my brother Kisinga asked. And in summary, his question was, why PLU? Why should it not be an arrangement from within NRM? Why the formation of PLU? Let me answer it this way. Number one, we need to allow people to think. We also need to allow people to talk, and we need to allow people to associate. And the moment we do that, we will have a much better country. We will have a much prosperous society. Because to think that ideas as such should remain within the NRM is something that we need to reflect a lot more deeper. And so, my brother Kisinga, PLU, first, the people who formed PLU have a right to do so. But I can also tell you that if you are talking about things that are in PLU and you think it's a lot of the things are copied from NRM, I can tell you that if you are interested in the affairs and the future of this country, you don't need to disregard the NRM in terms of learning a lot of things from the NRM. There are a lot of things that the NRM has done positively. There are also a lot of things that the NRM has done negatively. And the moment you are open to learning all that, then you are on your way to doing better things ahead. Because there is no way you are going to disregard the NRM for the positive things they have done, but there is also no way you are going to just close your eyes and not talk about some of the things that have been done terribly. Now, any group of people who call themselves citizens who love this country should be interested in talking about all that. But you should also be interested in learning how the NRM party has survived for 40 years. And look at the history of this country. I think apart from NRM, it's Idi Amin who ruled this country for a much longer time than the others. Obote, 1962, well, I would say fully from 1966 to 1970, 71, Amin took over up to 79. Those are about 7 years. Obote came back and so on. Others ruled for a few months and so on. These are things we have to learn because it's our country, it's our history. We cannot disregard them. But also you need to be interested in looking at how the NRM has gone this far. How did they manage it? And when you are doing that, you need to do it soberly. So when you see PLU associating with members of the NRM, or you see prominent members of the NRM holding different positions in PLU, and you see other members of the opposition also associating with PLU, my brother, don't take it in bad faith, because that is the journey the country has to take. Because at the end of the day, I can authoritatively tell you that the NRM is not the first political party and it's not going to be the last political party. Just like the DP, just like the UPC and all the others. And by the way, you never know what the future holds. It may take a few months or a few years and you see different formation coming. Just look at the history of Kenya. About a decade ago or so, a political party like Kano was the strongest political party. Today, when you go to Kenya, those political parties of the 60s, the 70s, the 80s are no more. They are new formation. They are coalitions, they are alliances, and so on. And just take it from me, that is the direction Uganda is taking. And you should just stop living in pretense. You never know. Maybe after 2026, you never know. There may be even no NRM. There may be no DP. There may be new formations, new alliances, new coalitions. That is the direction our politics and our democracy is taking. And so sometimes some people are too rigid to even thinking that Uganda is going to change. Without doubt, Uganda is going to change. Even the NRM at some point will leave power, but Uganda will remain a country. You never know which political party is going to lead tomorrow or the next day. But you know, irrespective of which political party or the direction, Ugandans as citizens have to be interested because they have a role in playing. I mean, they have a role to play in shaping the direction. So when you see some of us beginning to talk, we talk because we know what has happened in the past and we know what is going on today. And so we have to be interested so that we don't have a repeat of the terrible things in the past, but we should be able to pick some of the positive things and continue building on. That is the direction we should take. So I just want to, and by the way, PLU is not in a competition. We are not competing with the NRM. We are not competing with DP. We are not competing with any political party. We are instead rallying every interested Ugandan, every Ugandan who cares about tomorrow, to pick interest and have a sober discussion so that we can build a team. You know, it's about team building so that tomorrow we don't start struggling and fighting and doing that. We have, even when you disagree, you can disagree respectfully. You can belong to a different political party respectfully, but we don't go back to the terrible past. So that's the kind of discussion we're having. Now, coming to my brother Venturino, first I would say that, you know, it's a common thing that there are obviously three categories of people. There are those who will say what they hear. There are those who will say what they know, and there are those who will say what they think. At the end of the day, all the three are important and have to be respected. But in as far as the PLU is concerned, it's not guesswork. I am telling you what we know and what we are striving to achieve. And I would love to see my brother Venturino and any other person getting involved in this. You know, my brother Venturino, let me bring it home. Let's say it's your land. Let's use the example of Muchwini. Your land in Muchwini, and people are talking about your land, and you are not interested in even knowing what people are talking. That would be sad. That would be a disgrace. So Uganda is your land. Uganda is your country. Anybody who is talking about Uganda, anybody who says something about Uganda, you should be interested because they're talking about you and your future and the next generation. So to me, I think the gesture right now is a good one, that there are people who have started opening up, they are talking, and what is most important is that when we talk, we should be able to embrace one another, but also guide ourselves so that in future, we don't just talk, but we plan something that works for Uganda. So what do I say? Welcome on board. Be part of PLU. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable. I don't know whether that is directly going to Venturino or to everybody else here, but I would want to first hear from his own perspective as a civil society advocate, and with his own experience, and with, of course, your elaborate explanation about the issues that were raised. Venturino.
My brother Mangor.
Yes,
Mangor.
Yes, Honorable.
Please, you'll forgive me. Let me request my brother Chris to stand in, and I have a few responses to give in another meeting, and I'll be able to join in the next 20 minutes.
Okay,
please, my sincere apologies. Yeah.
Okay, please. Yes, Vento, you've had...
yes,
yes, I had given you the mic after the submissions from Honorable Mapenduzi.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Joseph. Thank you very much, Honorable Mapenduzi, for the very eloquent explanation of your reason and your view, your perception. Allow me to call it a perception. Chris looks at the PLU as an outfit that is intended to preserve the achievements of the NRM. But if you look at the list of things that it lists down, which the PLU intends to fight, these are things that were directly the mandate of government. Fighting corruption, fighting talks of injustices. I don't think that there's anyone inside the present government who will accept that there are injustices. But if someone from within the PLU says we are coming in to preserve what the NRM has achieved, and we have all this list of failures, this list of omissions, this list of commissions of things which are wrong, then I don't see that there is much for them to preserve. But otherwise, I would want to agree with Honorable Mapenduzi that any political formation that talks about the future of Uganda must be of interest to us. And therefore, it should also be within our rights to belong to any other organization that we feel addresses the future of Uganda better than others. So the idea of belonging to PLU must remain a choice to all of us. The idea of belonging to any other political formation that comes out. But my biggest disappointment is that these people who are now coming in from within the NRM to form the PLU have not given the Ugandans a chance to strengthen a party that has been in power for close to 40 years. The NRM is going to leave, and if you look at the people who are migrating from the NRM, I want to look at them as two separate organizations in time. You will see that this is purely a group that is meant to preserve the privilege that that has been amassed during these 40 years of NRM or mainly NRM rule. There's nothing about that. It is for others, it is to preserve the privilege, those who are joining now, because there are very few people who don't have the privilege, who have not developed amassed privileges that are joining the PLU. But from inside, you will also see that there is something else that is being preserved that many Ugandans are seeing, including me. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Venturino.
Yes. Joseph, maybe just something little. Personally, I love debate so much, and I normally have friends who are in very many other political parties. For example, one of my best friends is Honorable Poka Simon, who is in DP, and we normally have a very productive discussion. So we are trying to see, because when you look at the objectives of PLU, we are not refusing that it is not good. We are not trying not to discuss the future of Uganda. Actually, we are doing it. But we are trying to be fair in looking into how are we getting to the future. Because when you look at what Honorable Captain Mike Mukula talked about, like revamping the lost hope in the majority of young people is one of the key issues that they want to ensure is part of PLU. And also sustainability of the revolutionaries' achievement. Okay, then they are trying to reshape the ideology of the revolutionaries by incorporating the generational demand, while addressing the current challenges of the government by not having young people who are reactionary opposition. These are some of the statements that he was making. Now, this gives us the thinking that since the succession discussion has been on, could this be a way of making, us move forward? It doesn't necessarily mean that people in DP, people in UPC, people in FDC should not join. But now we are trying to see, is this the direction? Just like Van said, it looks like this is option B of NRM. Just in case they ran out of gas, this would be the easiest way, because they shall have actually put individuals that shall sustain what their interest is. So that is how, we have been looking at that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And just like you've just said there, and given, of course, the events that have played previously, you also point at the issue of the standby generator. But anyway, let me welcome Council Honorable Stella Kijange Lajiri, and of course we as the subjects of Kekwara Acholi, and we want to hear from Kekwaro what it has to say in terms of the political landscape right now, and of course as we head to 2026 and PLU coming in, of course trying to influence the votes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Oh my God. Thanks, Chris, the spokesperson for PLU Northern Uganda. my fellow panelists and other guests, brothers and sisters listening to the X Space. I would like to appreciate each and every one of us who is here participating in this topic. Though the topic was a bit scary, we are here. I would like to inform you that in the 1966, we see Uganda's founding executive prime minister, the then Dr. Milton Obote, abolishing kingdoms in Uganda. His fear was that Sir Edward Mutesa, who was the then president, would sneak in foreigners with mercenaries and then strengthen Baganda and then Tupo or Kateli's dream of becoming the president. Later on, we see in 1985, the President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, reinstituting the cultural and traditional institutions in Uganda, as stated under Article 246 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, 1995, as amended. What does the preamble say of our current constitution? I'll only move to the part that says that committed to building a better future by establishing a socio-economic and political order through a popular and durable national constitution based on the principles of unity, peace, equality, democracy, freedom, social justice, and progress. Our host, Joseph, allow me pick on the word social justice. What is social justice, according to us who are listening here? It's a view that everyone deserves equal. Social workers also aim to open the doors of access and opportunity for everyone, particularly those in the greatest need. I needed to bring this intro for us to look at the cultural institution as part and parcel of politics in this country, of leadership in this country. In life, there are about 4 things that every human being needs. One of them is culture. You need to identify yourself. Where do you come from? Religion, politics, business, health, among others. So there is no way that we shall discuss politics and the cultural institution is cut off completely. So our role as Acholi, or our role as Kekwa Acholi, we have seen it during the 20-year insurgency war, where we saw cultural leaders, for example, His Royal Highness, the Paramount Chief of Acholi, David Onena Acana II. We saw Yusuf Adek being among the peace builders in northern Uganda. Religion. We've seen religious leaders being part and parcel of politics in northern Uganda to bring peace. We saw the Northern Uganda Archbishop Emeritus, Most Reverend John Baptist Odama, being part and parcel of the people who went to meet Joseph Kony to make sure that peace returns to Northern Uganda. And then politicians. I earlier on read the article that institutes Kekwa actually or other cultural institution. I read the preamble and some other laws that I'll read in due course. We can't do this without politics. These laws are made by politicians. Without the constitution, Kekwa actually would be no more. It was earlier on abolished, but later reinstituted. So we cannot do without politics. Recently, Kekwa actually was in Kenya, Siaya County. Do you know what was there? Amidst the converging actually from all over Africa, there was the political aspect of it. where we saw two heads of state, Dr. William Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, and His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda, rallying support for Baba Raila Amolo Odinga. We all know that he's vying to be the chairperson of the African Union Commission. And this cannot happen if culture leaders or culture institutions don't come together. And why are we doing this? We are doing this for social justice, not for anything else. There's life before politics, what is happening now. There's life during politics, and there's life after. So what is the role of the culture institution? This is what we do. We witnessed what happened in Kenya, but we've seen two great leaders coming together. It's because of the culture. It's because the Luo community say, no, our son, you and Ruto are Africans. So you can represent Africans at the African Union Commission. As I take you back to now, what do we expect from PLU? I am not going to the nitty-gritty of what PLU does because that will be repetition, but as a cultural institution, we are welcoming to all bodies who bring social justice to the people of Acholi and Uganda at large. If I take you back, when we look, I like Buganda Kingdom because Buganda Kingdom is the source of political and cultural, strengthening political and cultural systems in Uganda here. We saw the British coming to Uganda, to Buganda Kingdom to govern the country. Chris talked about socio-economic empowerment of PLU under the MK agenda. He stressed corruption, eradicating corruption, environmental protection, peace and security. All these belong to social justice in the community. Now,
okay, Honorable, in the next 1.5 minutes.
What do you expect from PLU? All political actors, not only political actors, non-governmental organizations and other actors should know that the cultural institution, as Kekwaro, has its own agenda. We have our own strategic plans that are long-term, mid-term, and short. So, in developed countries, we see partners paying courtesy calls to the cultural institutions and commit themselves to working with the cultural institutions formally. When I say formally, they sign MOUs. So PLU as a civic organization, Acholi, is welcoming you. Formally, they can MOU with us and work with us for socio-economic development of the sub-region. So we are looking forward to receiving that courtesy call from you. And what we want to see is once you assume power, what do we see in the next 5 years for the people of Acholi and Uganda at large? You share your vision and mission. This is what happens. But we have seen oftentimes people come to Kekwaro, make courtesy calls, shake hands with His Royal Highness and leave. But what impact have you left for the people of Acholi? What have you put on paper formally to develop Acholi? You've seen in Uganda, all political players sign and give something to the Kabaka, something to Nabagereka Foundation. When there's Buganda conference, all politicians commit themselves. We recently held the Acholi Cultural Conference, Acholi Cultural Festival. How many politicians contributed? I will not mention your names. How many of you contributed? How many of you committed yourselves to supporting the activity? And how many of you politicians are in the process of peace building, bringing the factions, different political factions or different cultural factions together for the socio-economic development of Acholi? That is what we should be seeing. So PLU should be an umbrella or a vehicle that brings different factions together to develop the country. We look at the 1900 Buganda Agreement. We still feel its effects today. In Buganda, everything is pen and paper. The 1900 Buganda Agreement led to development. You know what happened? I'm not taking us back to history. Why don't we have that in Acholi sub-region? Why don't the leaders visit the culture institution and put everything formally? If we
Okay,
do that,
Honorable,
then
as
we
you
shall
wind up, Honorable.
strengthen. Yeah, you gave other actors a lot of time, but you did not know that you receive blessings from Kekwa actually. Yeah.
Honorable, you have a minute, yes.
In a minute, just okay. I wouldn't wish to speak a lot anyway because I've already spoken. But what I'm saying is, we need people to come on board and formalize their activities with us. We do not mind whether you're Muslim. We do not mind whether you're Christian. We don't mind whether you're PLU, NRM, opposition. We want people who are on board for socio-economic development of Acholi sub-region, for a matter. Do not only come and take photos, my dear. Come, something on paper.
Okay, thank you so much. And of course, I know that the spokesperson of PLU here in Acholi sub-region is listening and is taking notes. That's, of course, a concern coming in from PLU. Thank you so much, Council Stella Kijange. But I know there are people who have actually spoken already by submitting comments under this X space. And also, in case you want to speak directly, just send a request to speak. I know Dr. Labeja earlier on you had tried to request, I'd given you a chance, but somehow you disconnected. Let me read just a few comments before we come back to Chris. Coming in from X, let's start with Miguel Brian Odong, who says those leaguing with PLU are merely trying to position themselves in the next government. Someone is requesting for the full meaning of PLU, and that's, of course, Patriotic League of Uganda. I'll do that even if I've not been given an opportunity by the spokesperson. Kidgum NGO Forum says, have the KKA, that's the Kekwara Acholi, sorted out their leadership role already? I think that goes out to Council Stella. We have Venturino actually wrote something here, and he was asking, but do the Mukulas of NRM speak openly from within the NRM that young people have lost hope? Do the Chris of the NRM admit at present that there are injustices in this country? You want to speak? Send a request, but let me give a chance to Chris now. A lot has been spoken about Chris, and I know that you've been taking some of the notes. As PLU, after you've introduced yourselves to Acholi sub-region, you've actually identified with some people already who have expressed their, that's according to Honorable Martin Mapenduzi, expressed their interest to work with PLU. What do you have to offer to the people of Acholi sub-region, and how do you address some of the concerns that have been raised here on the Northern Baraza?
All right. Good evening, listeners, the ex-fraternities. I appreciate everyone who has taken his own time to listen to this carefully. As I made mention, PLU, which stands for Patriotic League of Uganda, we are open to all Ugandans who have the vision to ensure that this country is free from violence, this country is free from corruption, this country is free from all sorts of injustices, irrespective if you're an NRM or an opposition, or you don't have any political affiliation. We will welcome you. That is why if you look at the structures of all the supporters, the leadership comprised of people from different political parties who have different political ideologies. And this brings the notion that when we look at the branding and the political, PLU, as we understand, PLU, base for PLU, it is based on people. If you look at our bases, our support, it is on the Ugandans who have seen that there's certain thing, one or two, that the government has not done. which we applaud them with. Majority of the youth, which we fall in the category, let's say the breed of the youth from 1980s up to date, they are grieving out there. And they are crying out that the PLU is a solution to address some of these injustices that have been going on. We agree. We are not ruling out the fact that we have engaged in different communities. We have had the plights of the people. And how are we able to address that? That's why the different breeds of PLU comprise of people from different backgrounds, either political or religious, but they have the vision to ensure that this country, the continuity should go there. The country should continue without, all through maybe transfer of power, without bloodshed, through peaceful election. And on the aspect of the PLU, the only right candidate we think can take us and lead us in the right direction, it is General Muhoozi. You have had, yesterday he has announced that on the 10th February, we will all march, go and protest against corruption. That our leaders, that some of the MPs that we have elected are in parliament. We know what has been going on in parliament. And people are bleeding. We should admit the fact. Yes, we have some MPs who have really the country at heart, who are the people at heart. They have done tremendous job. But there are MPs, there are leaders that we have entrusted that do not put things at the right spot. You've been following news about corruption, ranging from everything that the money that should have gone to people, things are being diverted. And the general is aligning himself. General Muhoozi is aligning himself with the majority of the country, that the people that are bleeding. That's why he has called us. He has called every peace-loving Acoli Ugandan that we should, on the 10th, we should clearly bring out our grievances peacefully. Mark my word, peacefully. We should peacefully bring out our grievances about the corruption that is ongoing, about the other injustices that is ongoing in this country. As PLU, we can say PLU focus on patriotism, fight corruption, promoting national pride, might resonate in the broad segment of population. This ideology stance could be leveraged to gain widespread public support. And we have already gained this public support. Out of 10 people you can see, at least 6 of them embrace the PLU ideologies, embrace the PLU. They said, okay, the hope of this country is in PLU. As Mapenduzi mentioned, we will never, the region for Acholi, will never let the people down for having trusted us. Ensure that this country should move in the right direction. The vision for Acholi, we have positioned ourselves to ensure that we should also go and grab, when the PLU takes our government, when General Muhoozi becomes the president, we should go and lobby, advocate, and fight for what belongs to Acholi in terms of creating job opportunities, in terms of enriching even the common man should have an average income per annum. This is what we're looking for. If some people that have engaged with, they know me, they understand some of us, especially me. We are the people, we have in the entire Chola sub-region, given my experience with NGO work, given my experience with the mobilization for the NRM government, we have built a very strong team and appeal. The people who do not have blood, who do not have in actually Pichingi Kiremo. We need to build a team of the youth of Acholi. We should rise up. The people who think this country should move in the right direction, we should rise up and bring the truth in light. We cannot quote everything. Poramo quoting Jami Wang. We cannot quote everything. We cannot pretend that everything is right. We cannot pretend that we're okay, yet we are bleeding inside. So the hope is in this Patriotic of Uganda. We can continue advocating. Even the leaders, we know some of the opposition leaders who are really doing tremendous work. We will continue reaching out to them like I've been reaching out to some of the leaders, said, okay, let us join hands we make PLU. This is a government that is in transition, that is planning to take over. Should we allow another person who has not understood the vision for this, for what the country is heading toward to come and jeopardize the situation? We wouldn't want to see coup, we wouldn't want to see bloodshed. That is what PLU stands on. I encourage our fellow Cholis, let's reach out to me, reach out to Mapenduzi, reach out to different leaders. We want everyone. We should embrace this opportunity that has come for Acholi. Because about Acholi, I'm very passionate. Being a moderator. About Acholi, I am very passionate. Anything that belongs, that will empower Acholi, will protect Acholi, will protect our land, will build on the leadership that we have. That is what I crave for. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And of course, that's Christopher Chen, spokesperson, Patriotic League of Uganda here in Acholi sub-region. My co-host, Kisinga, a lot has been said, but as we come towards the end, you've heard about 10th of February. Patriotic League chairperson has actually come out and he has spoken. I don't know how this is going to be done. We've had in the past as well, the people try to access parliament to march against the corruption there. Kisinga, I'm giving you an opportunity to just say something about 10th February.
All right, thank you so much, Joseph. I would like to appreciate everyone who contributed. I think Vent actually highlighted a number of things. People should know that we are not against this PLU. We need a deeper understanding. If it is focusing on transition, we need a deeper understanding because Uganda is ours, and we need to know how we are going about this. When Chris talked about the generations of the 80s, the 90s, and then the 2000s, we are the generation that actually has seen a lot, especially in northern Uganda. So we completely understand the value of peace, you know, and the price of war. Nobody can teach us better. Rather than our experience. Our understanding of PLU is very simple. According to the discussion that was taking place, it is just to revamp the lost hope in the majority young people, and also to ensure that there is sustainability of the revolutionaries' achievement. As simple as that. So the other things, the other calls and all this is actually coming to make sure that Uganda goes on along the line. In respect to the 10th, the anti-corruption call, I do not know how this has been organized because if we are going to probably, I don't know, is it a gathering? Is it going to be like marching towards a certain point? Is it going to be a Uganda event, or it is going to be a Kampala event? What I've realized, my brother Joseph, is that most of the events normally take place where the media can catch it so quickly, but not to the rotten point. Because the rotting point, which needs proper health care facilities, proper schools, you know, nothing reaches there. And sometimes this makes this kind of effort more of like centered towards a particular kind of people. But it is a good move. All of us need to fight corruption because it is one of the biggest challenge that we are facing right now in Uganda. And when we are looking at continuity, and cases of corruption in Uganda has been handled by kids' gloves. So many scandals have taken place, and we have never seen like a very, very serious consequence of such. Because if you have for example, corrupted one god, and you are supposed to put 4 back, and you lose your job, that the price of corruption would be too high, the stake would be too high, and everybody would want to protect their job. But we haven't seen such in Uganda. In China, you know, corruption is just death penalty. In other places, they have really a high price tag. But now walking, it is a good kind of like a gesture. But then what will happen after? You know, what will happen? we will still find little drugs, drug circles is not being followed, you know. And corruption doesn't necessarily mean it is about money. You know, it's about time, it's about so many other things that we really need to value. So I think fighting corruption is more of like a culture. We need to develop that culture right from households to make sure that fighting corruption gets easy. But of course, the price tag of corruption should be so high. You corrupt one goat, you pay four, you lose your job. That is so high, and everybody wouldn't want to get involved in that. So, but now you see scandals, huge scandals, huge amount of money that has never been accounted for, probably for the last 10 or 15 years. We have seen this scandal, and the government just moved forward, you know, like nothing has happened. So this hurts Uganda so much, but as young people, I think we need to look into a fair way of going forward. Of course, the ideology, the idea of us protecting Uganda right now and also protecting the future, it is very important for us, very important, and all of us should strive towards that. Okay, so I think the idea is good, but of course the reason why you hear some of this argument, Joseph, is because it looks like it is courted, you know. PLU looks like it's courted. It is not very open to the majority. I would like to take note here that there has been a lot of patriotic leak in the world, by the way. Like for example in Bosnia, and it came out of from a military general who actually termed kind of their movement like every enemy needs to know that Bosnia will never fall. You know, so these are the kind of like thinking that. Are we also coping and pacing? Are we also having a deeper understanding of really what us as Ugandans need and where we need to move? And what is the interest of the young people, okay, who are actually the majority of this nation? Therefore, when Honorable Captain Mike Mukula said, let us revamp the lost hope of the majority young people. It means they now completely understand that the young people needs to take the mantle, but take Uganda to the right place, which every one of us would really appreciate that. So I basically think we need to move together, and I really wanted very much Chris to respond to Honorable Stella, who actually was like, we only go to take pictures at Kekwaro. So now, as PLU, what plan do we have to ensure that the Acoli embraces the ideas that you're coming with? Because Kekwaro is Acoli and Acoli is Kekwaro. So how do you intend to embrace that, to let us embrace it? And also I think there needs to be more publicity, and as the PRO, as the spokesperson, I think you need to do a lot of sensitization where is necessary. We have places that most of these things are seen as MK movement. They don't really understand like the nitty-gritty within and the conceptualization of what is already on. So basically that is it, but thank you so much for bringing all this. I would like also to appreciate Honorable Mapenduzi. We do not hate any political party, and for me, I am not into this kind of like, because you are NRM, nobody likes you, because you're FDC, nobody likes you. For me, I'm NRM, okay? And then I associate with everybody. We can disagree. We can totally disagree on principles. On like, for example, if something goes wrong under the NRM administration, personally, I admit. But of course, some of the people within NRM will say, why are you doing this? So let us be focused. Let us put the nation above all of us. The moment we do that, and the moment we love our country, almost every steps matter. Don't be an NRM who is trying so much to make sure that you bring Uganda down. These things of just agreeing to everything, doing things that doesn't really put us forward. So I think if the PLU, we start looking at Uganda
embracing everyone from all walks of life, or every Ugandan who is interested in talking about the positive future of Uganda. So we agree that almost 80% of Ugandans, including me, we are tired of NRM or the leadership of President Museveni, because when you look into NRM, first of all, there are people who are already there who think that they own NRM, that NRM is theirs. They don't give opportunity to other people. There's no inclusivity in NRM. That is why most of the young people are running into PLU, which is Patriotic Youth of Uganda, where they are acting to us like destiny helpers, people to show us the way. They give us always platforms. That is what really interests us. We have other alternatives, but when you look at such alternatives, it seems like it is for a particular region, because when they're even doing their Twitter spaces like in Uganda, which is for that political party, so they are not inclusive. And then also the way they are not objective in their reasoning, they are always intolerant and abusive. So long as you give them any other alternative which is different from what they think, then maybe let me also go into the demonstration, which is for 10th of February. Personally, I don't agree with it, because if you are to listen from the other side, they are also saying they are going to, it is a blessing in disguise. They are going to use that opportunity to also demonstrate. So I think it is just going to destabilize the peace which you already have in the country. So corruption, like my brother Rema said, it is something which is needed, a change in culture. How are we bringing up our children? That is what matters. Because if you're to hear even the way people speak, they just say, if you don't have connections, just right away from primary schools, that is what kids are saying. So how do we build a culture which tells a kid that corruption is bad? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Laveja. And as we come to the end, I'll give a chance. Chris, you'll be the last person to speak. Then we shall close. I'll give a chance now to Vento, and then after that we shall have Council Stella close as well. Let's utilize 2 minutes each.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you for all the contributions that people have made on this X space. You know, Joseph, speaking about the PLU appears a very difficult topic, because the things that you discuss are not things that you are really setting.
It was scary.
Hello?
I was saying, Council Stella said that the topic was scary.
Yes. I am happy she admitted. But otherwise, but we have gone through it. Some of us are doing it because we don't really have much to lose in terms of material. We just have our conscience that is within us. We shall go away with it, so we can comment freely. About the 10th, you know, we are fighting injustices selectively, and that is what the PLU has fallen into. Because you remember recently there have been a lot of attempts at peaceful demonstrations to go to parliament. And if the PLU is coming and putting the 10th, what did they say about the other peaceful demonstration against corruption, against the high-handedness of officials, against the waste in parliament? They never said anything. So we can really not come out and try to be now design ourselves using the power we have, and we tend to look like we have monopoly about monopoly of the responsibility to correct what has gone wrong in Uganda. That is not correct, because if we want to fight injustices, we should be fighting injustices at all times. Whether you see the commander fighting against injustice in red, whether you see the commander is in blue, if it is against injustice, we must follow them. And that is where I think if the PLU succeeds, it will only confirm to many observers that we are in two Uganda. One Uganda that looks at certain people and think they are correct at all times, and another Uganda which looks at some other people and say they are wrong at all the times. But to conclude, we really want to see the PLU growing with respect of the laws of Uganda. And we also want to see the PLU giving space to other political organizations. Because really, if I see, I want to disagree with Dr. Labeja a little, because if you went around X spaces, and there are many people that you follow, so there are some PLU diehards who are as intolerant as the noob guys. If you are referring to noob guys, they're the one who dominate. There is a very rough competition between the two groups and one really assuming space. And I would want to really end with a parting shot that personally people may think I've been against the NRM. I went to Chankwanzi in 1989 and spent 3 months there. I belong to very many political discussion groups at Makerere. I am a very firm believer, or I was a very firm believer in the 10-point program of the NRM. But the NRM over the years has been a disappointment. It grew, it became strong as a political organization. People were beginning to have voices beyond the historical members. But once the NRM folded its organizational wing, and the president and the chairman of the party began to appoint even the Secretary General, the NRM stopped existing as a growing institution. And now as it is a cult. And I am afraid that if the new members of the PLU don't take control of it, we are going to have another cult. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we hope everyone else is listening in from the experienced words of Venturino Otto. Yes, Stella.
Thank you, Joseph. As regards the 10th of February forthcoming peaceful demonstration or protest against corruption, I'll give my perspective of the same in two phases. Right now I'm holding two phases. One, as a lawyer, what does the law say? We know very well under Article 29(1)(d) of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, 1995 as amended, gives us the freedom to assemble, to demonstrate together with others peacefully and unarmed. So as Stella, who is a lawyer, come politician, this demonstration should have been staged like yesterday. It has been long overdue. So on 10th February, I'll be part and parcel of the team working in protest against corruption in this country. Because anything that curtails socio-economic development of Uganda hurts me as an individual. And then another dimension or another phase as a minister for gender, culture, and youth at Culture Institution. We recall last year, around February or March, His Royal Highness, the Paramount Chief of Acholi, who is none other than Lord David Unen Acana II, was hurt by the massive killings of his subjects in Upper Land. He called upon the entire Acholi to move in solidarity with him and peacefully demonstrate through walking. I was part and parcel. A pair that prematurely ended in Pabo. The rest of the country, or the rest of the PLU members, walking in protest for the corruption in this country on the 10th of February. So thank you very much. If you see me on the 10th of February walking with others, just know I'm walking as Stella Kijange, the lawyer, the politician, blah, blah, blah. That if the cultural institution accepts that we join the rest of the country in working and also work as a Minister of Gender, Youth and Culture. Of course, a lawyer and politician. Thank you very much. May God bless you.
Thank you very much. God bless you too. Let's give Chris a chance. Chris, you have 2.5 minutes.
Oh, thank you once again for the opportunity. Stella, and then the rest of the panelists. I appreciate that. As we made mention, even if we cannot march up to Kampala on the 10th February, we can air out our grievances. We can air out our dissatisfaction toward corruption right from Gulu here. That's number one. And then number two, the beautiful plan that PLU has for the cultural institution. We will look at policy development advocacy. We look at policy that I think maybe political parties can involve cultural leaders in policy discussion to ensure the laws and policy respect and reflect cultural values and tradition and needs. Talk about advocacy for cultural preservation. Those are some of the things we can discuss. PLU, what I can tell listeners that Patriotic of Uganda is an hybrid of NRM. That somebody is very excited. An hybrid of NRM that encompasses that looks at engaging, involving each and everyone that either they disagree or they agree with, so that we look at this country as a very peaceful country, as a very corrupt-free country, as a country that embraces tolerance and promotes peaceful coexistence. I'll continue encouraging people who have not yet decided, people who are yet to decide to join PLU. This is not NRM. This is an hybrid of NRM. The mistakes which have been made for NRM will be corrected with the PLU. And if you do not shy off, if you have the political ambition with the vision of fighting corruption, promoting our environment, promoting cultural institution, and ensuring that this country is perfect, please join PLU. We don't segregate. We don't discriminate. The door is wide open. Soon, as a spokesperson and then my leader, coordinator Mapenduzi, we will visit the different institutions. We will be hosting. Am I clear?
Okay, you had broken off, but you have 1 minute.
Okay. No, sir. Sorry,
we can hear you.
Yes. We want to embrace especially Acholi sub-region, Acholi. You know, politics is not bigger than, is not above the culture. It's not bigger than Acholi. Every politician, as aspiring candidates, let's embrace Acholi. Let's respect our cultural institution. Let's respect our culture, because that is our foundation. As PLU, we will work with everyone. Either you disagree with us or you agree with us. We embrace continuity. The mistake made under NRM, we are able to say, yes, we are sorry. We have made it. Let's pick up from there. Let's ensure that everything is okay. Moderator, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I look forward to further engagement of such kind. Thank you so much, other panelists. It's been a beautiful discussion. I appreciate everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you so much, Christopher Chen, the spokesperson of PLU in Acholi sub-region. And of course, with all the advertisement that you've made, we are going to send you an invoice so that you can support the Northern Baraza again and again. Today's topic has been, is PLU poaching opposition MPs in Acholi, or this is a new wave? And as we have all heard, this is a sprouting political party disguised as a civic organization. We had the Honorable Martin Ojara Mapenduzi earlier on, of course, elaborating what PLU is doing, what Honorable Anthony Akol and Honorable Lucy Akelo were doing at PLU headquarters in Kampala, taking pictures with the mobilizer, that's Michael Mawanda, and of course, Honorable Mapenduzi himself. He has actually said they were not poaching. They have not joined PLU, but you never know in the future what will happen. I want to say thank you so much to my co-host, Oriam Kisinga Henry, well known to me as the Kitizen, and of course to our panelist, that's Mr. Venturina Otto, then of course as well as Council Stella Kijange Lajiri, who has been speaking on behalf of the Kekwara Acholi. That's the Acholi Cultural Institution. Thank you so very much. People who have been contributing online, and as well those who managed to speak up. We had Dr. Labeja there also speaking. Thank you so much.